Federal Executive Council okays 82 billion naira to augment FCT project contracts. Senate passes bill to establish Agricultural Development Fund. Afreximbank and Nexim to provide $50 million project preparation funds for Nigerians. Passengers airfare rises by 17.97% in February, says the National Bureau of Statistics. Plus Asia Pacific shares mixed as investors watch tech stocks following Wall Street sell-off. Details of these and more on Business Express on the network service of the NTA, and we are reaching you live from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Liakatun Babatunde. The Federal Executive Council has approved over 80 billion naira towards the construction, expansion and rehabilitation of various infrastructure projects in the Federal Capital Territory. Also approved is the procurement of transformers for enhanced power supply in parts of the country, as well as fertilizers as part of government's intervention for sustained agricultural products in the Northeast.
First memo is the revision of the contracts for the rehabilitation and expansion of the Outer Southern Expressway to Ring Road 1.
The objective is to support these states, Yobe, Adamawa and Borno, in their agricultural activities, and we're not selling it to them, it's for free. And those states that were not affected by the insurgency, they have already been given this fertilizer in 2019 and 2020.
These transformers are needed to replace the transformer in system for the past 35 years in order to improve quality of power supply to the national grid.
A bill that seeks to establish an agricultural development fund has killed third and final reading at the Senate. The bill, titled A Bill for an Act to Establish the National Agricultural Development Fund and Matters Connected Therewith 2020, is sponsored by Senator Abdullahi Adamu. Passage of the bill was a sequel to the consideration of the report of the Senate Committee on Agricultural and Rural Development. Ignatius Nkwo reports.
Economic diversification dominated Senate plenary this week, from the Nigerian Mineral Development Corporation Establishment Bill to the National Agriculture Development Fund Bill. The Agricultural Development Fund, when established, is expected to ensure food security, facilitate agricultural research and extension, and see to the establishment of agricultural clusters and processing zones.
With the government's commitment to make agriculture the mainstay of our economy, it is only right to make enabling laws for the purpose of providing sustainable funding for agricultural development in Nigeria.
It should read, the chairman and members shall be appointed by the president, period.
When we talk about farmer association, means, we added livestock, fisheries, poultry, all together to form only one association.
This is one bill that can transform the economy of Nigeria. This is one bill that can provide employment opportunities for Nigerians, especially our youth.
Minister of State Finance for Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, says the injection of 500 billion naira into the social investment program by the Buhari administration no doubt has impacted positively on the teeming unemployed Nigerians. The minister stated this when he declared open a meeting on enhancing social protection program in Nigeria initiated by African Network for Environment and Economic Justice, ANEJ.
There's no better time to strengthen social protection program in Nigeria than now, particularly with our recent experience with the COVID-19 pandemic that has put the global community, including Nigeria, on a hot spot to address poverty and vulnerability, which are the main objects of social protection programs.
And so before we continue the business of the day, let's go on this very short break. As government continues to encourage small and medium enterprises in the country to reduce unemployment in the society and boost trade, some female entrepreneurs in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State are making brisk business despite all odds. Joy Ubani, who visited some of these female entrepreneurs, reports that as against the notion that shoemaking is a male-dominated business, the women are making a difference.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
When it comes to stores of entrepreneurs, there is an interesting link between intelligence and eccentric nature. Enaida Mudosoro is among the very few female entrepreneurs in Uyo who, in her zeal in pursuing shoemaking business while empowering young people to acquire the rightful skills to become financially stable, say you have to fight your fears to be successful.
I studied biochemistry in University of Uyo. It was after my service that I went to learn how to make shoes. It was just by luck. I would use maybe God's favor or maybe luck. I went to Zaria and I saw this leather school. It's an institute, a monotechnic. I was inspired when I saw their works. They are more into leather works. They tan leather and they make shoes, leather waist, footwears and bags. So far since we started, this is the 4th year we're staying here. I think we've trained about 12 persons over the span of 3 years, and about 12 persons that we've trained.
She is a creative and versatile frontier innovator with fantastic eye for design for both male and female shoes. Tells us again on our challenges in the face of the new normals.
I had a dream, I had the idea, I had the knowledge, but the money to start up was not there. That was my #1 challenge. I went through it. The fear of starting something, you think about, will you succeed? What if I fail? What if it doesn't go right? And most times this is maybe your only money, the only hope, and then you carry it and put it into business. Most times if you can overcome that fear. COVID-19 has affected things, I think, from last year. From the lockdown, the price of, it's as if they tripled the price of raw material. That's the one way. And now there's an increase in price of raw material, but customers don't want to pay beyond what they used to pay before, so it has reduced the profit margin.
Meanwhile, Ruth Essien is also a successful trainer in shoemaking business, who expresses her confidence in the business.
I was in search of a white collar job. It wasn't fast coming, so I decided to go into handwork. I didn't find any other fashion, any other field interesting until one day when I had the opportunity to go to a workshop at Aki's office. That was where I got the zeal.
However, any business you can save money and get good patronage, such business is said to be lucrative.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Now, the coronavirus has brought rapid changes, of course, to humanity. Data is now king, as the way we do things and transactions has been altered forever with rapid speed as the world goes digital. The spring meetings of the World Bank and IMF is days away, and already data economy is prominent in the schedule as a critical component of rebuilding the global economy to leapfrog obstacles to inclusive development. Can Nigeria and Africa afford to lag behind in this revolution? And what are the quick wins? I have joining me virtually the Chief Executive Officer of Sumo Trust, Igwe Christen, to take a look at the topic data-driven economy in a pandemic. You're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you.
Great. So how valuable is data to the economy, and what role did it play in combating the virus?
Okay, data on a broader scale is very valuable, especially in our modern day world. We've seen developed economies make decisions based on the data available to them. Bigger corporations like companies make their business decisions because of the data available to them. And coming to the case of coronavirus, it's because of data that we were able to know, okay, that we had more cases in places like Lagos, Abuja, and Kano. If the data wasn't available, we wouldn't have known that in the first place. So yes, data is pretty very much valuable in our modern day world.
So how are we doing in terms of investments in Nigeria? Are we doing enough?
Okay, coming to that angle, I feel something on the private scale. Yes, so we are trying, but I can't say we are doing well enough. There's so much room for improvement on a scale of 100%. We are just like 10. We are trying. I can't say we're not doing well enough, but then there's so much room for improvement. I think if we invest more on data, knowing what is really happening around us, that way we'll get to make decisions, policies, and everything will be based on facts and not just on estimations and what we actually think is going to happen.
So now that you're talking about based on facts, not estimation, how vital is data to the planning and functionality of any society, just like Nigeria?
Okay, now data is very important for society like Nigeria. Let's take, for instance, we are talking COVID. Now, if the data wasn't there in the first place, you will not know where to focus your medical attention to. Remember that some states were on lockdown and some other states weren't on lockdown as of 2020 when the whole thing started. Some states went in first. Now, it's because of data. Now, so it's very valuable, and I feel paying more attention to it, it's very, very important at this point, not just to the case of health, but across different sectors, in the transport, in the entertainment, and all the sectors. If even in the job market, if we pay attention to the data in the job market, this would tell us that we need to pay more attention on manufacturing and other sectors that will actually create more jobs and take away joblessness from the streets.
Okay, so we've got our phones, we've got Bluetooth, we've got the smartwatches, the GPS, and all sort of gadgets around us that we use to do these transactions, and they also routinely monitor our activities. Now the big question is, who uses the data our phones and every other gadget absorbs from us?
So, okay, outside the consumer, everybody uses the data. Yes, I have this smartphone with me, but the government uses my data. The company, my ISP, my internet service provider company uses my data. A businessman on Instagram uses my data with his phone. You will agree with me that let's say I go to a website now and I try to check in a hotel. If I visit Facebook, I'm going to see similar ads relating to hotel booking or tourism. These are businesses related to the sites I've visited before, trying to use my data to sell to me. So everybody uses it. It's not just niched down to one thing, but then it is important that whoever is using data uses it very well and you have the right data with you. But for the smartphone or a smartwatch, everybody uses it except the consumer.
Okay, so now a lot of a lot of our digital footprints are stored in silos of big tech companies. What is their value, and I mean, how can they be used for positive economic activities?
I think one of the problems I still have the fact that these big data are not with us. Let me divert a little bit from the topic. Let's go to China. Now, a country like China stores their own data. They collect it themselves, they house it themselves, and they process it themselves. And then you can't use some social networks in China because the government have made available one central platform, WeChat. Inside that WeChat, you get to do your own social networking, you get to do your payment. Then you do as centralized within that one app. So this way, the government tends to have better control of their data. So, but our own Nigerian data is lying in third-party companies, which are not even in Nigeria, and they have it so well that if they decide not to give us access to our own data, we will not even be able to know what we are doing. So these companies are there, but it can improve our economy when we decide to have our own data at a cheaper cost and not having to buy it from a third-party company holding it. Then definitely, if you have data, better economic decisions will be made. It will tell us, okay, this is where to work on, this is where to work on, this is the interest. Bodies like the WAEC, JAMB, and most of these school bodies can create an avenue where there should be a form of interconnectivity or intercommunication among all the schools. Someone in UNN can know what is going on in Unilag. If not for Instagram, we'll be able to have access to some of the information we're enjoying today. And this is 21st century. So we should have our own data. That way it will help us, sit down and make better economic values to the country.
So now talking about this, I guess before I let you go, you would chip in. How can we build now a more healthier, resilient, and of course a fairer data economy that does not just combat poverty, for instance, as observed by the World Bank and the IMF, but creates and retains wealth?
Okay, now in the process of having to build your own data yourself, like I said, now in the process of doing that, you're already creating jobs. Now, in the process of trying to expand it across different sectors, not just health, for example, you're also creating jobs. And while you're creating these jobs, revenues is coming in, which means sustainability, and the longevity increases. A lot of money is being spent for the refinery, for example, now, and it's because of the data that we have that we know that this refinery is actually not making money. But we know that, based on the data, that if this refinery stops production, that's a way of saving costs. But if you go ahead to make decisions and continue to run on things without facts or statistics of what is on ground, there won't even be longevity in the first place.
Okay, I would like to thank you, Mr. Igwe Christian of Sumo Trust, for joining us this morning. We'll be talking to you some other time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. So the dollar hit a fresh 4-month high to the euro on Thursday as the U.S. pandemic response continued to outpace Europe's, which has been hobbled by extended lockdowns and delayed vaccine rollouts. The African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, and Nigeria Export-Import Bank, Nexim, aim to mobilize up to $50 million in the form of project preparation funds for investments in Nigeria. This followed the signing of a memorandum of understanding to establish a joint project preparation fund that will provide early project preparation financing and technical support services to public and private sector entities operating in Nigeria's trade sector. A statement by Continental Organization says both banks would collaborate through the fund to unlock investments into sectors such as export manufacturing, agro-processing, solid minerals, development and beneficiation services, as well as healthcare, information and communication technology and creative industries. They would support public and private sector investors by providing technical and financial support services that will result in steady pipeline of well-structured bankable projects that Afreximbank, Nexim and other financial institutions can readily finance. President of Afreximbank, Professor Benedict Orama, added the fund had been designed to assist the early development process of projects from concept stage to bankability by covering the preparation of feasibility studies, project development and advisory services and related costs. Gold prices were steady on Thursday as support from easing U.S. Treasury yields was offset by a strong dollar, which emerged as a preferred safe haven amid growing concerns about extended lockdowns in Europe. Oil prices skidded around 2% as fuel demand concerns re-emerged alongside fresh coronavirus pandemic lockdowns, trimming overnight gains spurred by the grounding of a giant container ship blocking crude shipments through the Suez Canal. Brent crude futures slid $1.14 to $63.27 a barrel after jumping 6% overnight. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures dropped by $1.27 to $59.91 a barrel after climbing 5.9% overnight. Prices had tumbled earlier in the week on worries about tighter pandemic curbs in Europe and vaccine delays stalling growth in demand for fuel, but sharply reversed on Wednesday with the grounded ship in the Suez Canal potentially blocking 10 tankers carrying 13 million barrels of oil. And now to stocks. Asia Pacific shares mixed as investors watch tech stocks following Wall Street sell-off. Boss Stable reports.
On the global scene, futures contracts tied to the major U.S. stock indices rose in early trading on Thursday after pressure on technology stocks sent the Nasdaq Composite down 2% during the regular session. The overnight moves came after a rush of late-day selling in high-growth and technology shares during the regular session. Dow futures rose 68 points, while futures contracts tied to the S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 were slightly higher. Shares in Asia Pacific were mixed in Thursday trade as tech stocks in the region took a hit following a sell-off in the sector overnight on Wall Street. In Japan, the Nikkei rose 1.14%. Topix Index gained 1.13%. Shanghai Composites sitting below the flat line, while Hang Seng Index was fractionally higher. European stocks are expected to open lower on Thursday as investors consider the ramifications of a surge in coronavirus cases in the region, and EU leaders discuss positive blocks on vaccine exports. In Africa, stocks are also expected to start Thursday's early trading mostly positive. Boss Able, Business Express.
So with that, we end this edition of Business Express. Remember to keep in touch with us. So do send in your comments, observations, suggestions, and questions. You can also be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. You can communicate with us on Twitter, and the handle is NTA News Now. Don't forget to use the hashtag. It is BizX. Business Express returns tomorrow at 3 p.m. My name is Leah Katung Babatunde. Do have a wonderful day out there.